Hello and welcome to Very Biased Opinions. It is Ian and Thomas with you as always for another round of Premier League predictions. I think we're up to week number 24, and although the season may officially be over, according to some managers, we do have to trudge on and continue with our life's work. To give you a quick update on our score predictions, I have managed to burgle a draw out of the latest rounds of predictions out of nowhere, with, thankfully for Chelsea, mercifully stopping at 2-0 in their game against Newcastle, which has given me a 5-all draw out of nowhere. But I still am miles behind Thomas, and I'm just going to... What's that?
It's a 6-all draw, and it's week 25. So thus far, everything you've said...
I can't count. And we're on week 25. We've had... Yeah, quite right. We're not going to start again, though, because I need to just say, because what we're playing for is double point! With our premonitions for this week, Thomas, highlight a comment from what I believe was round 24.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm supposed to be looking at that, aren't I? Good.
Don't act like you haven't surgically prepared this for weeks.
Right, we're going to highlight Sanders on this, who says, as an Everton fan, I think we're a first-half team to be fair. We perform in second halves when we have to, i.e. when we're losing or drawing, but otherwise we just sit back and do nothing. Finally, someone who agrees with me about something.
Oh, shit. What about the game against Man United, Sanders? What about that one? Count. And what about those games where you don't turn up for any halves? Hey? What about them?
Good point, Ian. Good point. And with that said, it's time to go into the match of the week, because it's Liverpool versus Everton.
So the Merseyside derby rolls around once again, and we have one club fighting to getting the Champions League and one club in Liverpool desperately trying to hold on to their Europa League hopes. They are doing their best to hang on to 6th place in the league, and I think that's a good time to bring in the Manchester United fan here. Thomas, what are your thoughts on Liverpool?
Oh, right. So it's a great time to be a Man United fan, because Liverpool have returned back to their shit state of life, where just
write that down for later when we bring up the West Brom game. But you can carry on.
Everything that could go wrong for this club is they have so many injuries, and everybody in the media is just piling on them as if something deadly has happened at Liverpool. Klopp's making some giant error and the players aren't up for it. As if they don't have now, I believe it's 11 first-team injuries once James Milner walked off the field injured 10 minutes into the first half or whatever it is. This club cannot catch a break. I still do like watching them lose. But everyone in the media talking about how this club needs an overhaul and Klopp's going to pick... They have no fit defenders. Their midfield now plays in defense. Their midfield is their second or third choice midfield. It's just... Of course they're going to lose games. And of course they're going to have weird appearances. Get over it. They have no fit players. And apparently they replace it with the Schalke defender that decided to just... Him and the goalkeeper just run right into each other. Because, why is Alisson not?
Come on. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. That is how they defend at Schalke.
That's what I'm saying. And then what is Alisson doing coming 30 yards out of his goal? I mean, but it looked like the center back had it covered until that point, truthfully. It looked like he was going to swing a leg and clear it. And then Alisson comes out of nowhere and barrel rolls him. I'm assuming he didn't shout it as well, because you'd think a center back. But then again, Schalke. So it's really fun to watch Liverpool, but Ian, do you think Everton will beat them?
Oh, they never beat them, do they? They never beat. This is a golden chance for Everton to finally get the monkey off their back. We haven't won at Anfield for God knows how many years. They've just had a horror show of a game, which is what they're likely to do, which they are somewhat excused by the fact they did have that nuts extra time FA Cup game with Tottenham. So there would have been a little bit of tiredness in there, but they were poor against Fulham. And they need to be a lot better against this Liverpool side, who I think are at some point, because they did play well against Leicester and then just imploded through the game.
Total implosion.
At some point, that form is going to turn around, though.
Yeah. But I don't want to see it happen here.
Oh.
So despite every bone in my body saying just go for Liverpool, it's classic Everton. They're gonna like slip on a banana skin. I don't know. There'll be what are those things called? Sinkholes in the ground that'll just swallow up James Rodriguez.
That's exactly what they're called, sinkholes.
Pickford will come back, but he won't be fit enough to play. But he'll demand to play, and he won't be able to get from like left to right. Olsen will be putting it striker because Dominic Calvert-Lewin will like sprain his ankle. It's gonna be Everton 2-1.
You're a ballsy man, Thomas, and I have to admire those balls of yours. I am going madly as always. I've done all season. Liverpool 2-1, but I think Jordan Pickford. If you're going to put a bet on, put him on to injure another Liverpool defender.
Honestly, though, Jordan Henderson comes up for a corner. Jordan Pickford just like wipes him out. That's it. That's Liverpool's season.
I think Jordan Pickford will clear a ball, and it'll be just overhit, miles out of play. But it will just be like as Van Dijk's like coming out on crutches. It'll hit him.
just cartoonishly nail him in
like
the head.
A naked gun or something like that. But anyway,
exactly.
We digress. Let's move on. Burnley versus West Bromwich Albion.
Well, Ian, these are two scintillating sides. They're both really competing for... Okay, I got nothing. West Brom have been pretty garbage outside of their draw with Man United, and I think we can all admit, Man United made them look better than they were. They weren't exactly on top of anything. They just literally stood on Fernandez's foot the entire time, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not have a plan B if Fernandez is marked out of a game. But, that's what they do. But this is must win for them, isn't it?
I don't even think that's what they do. I think that's the first time I've seen like a bit of steel from West Brom. And I think it's probably the first time that West Brom have had a week of Allardyce just literally monotonously drilling them on how to defend. So they did look a lot stronger at the back, and it was a creditable draw. But Burnley got a fantastic win, 3-0 against Palace. You did back.
Told you.
You didn't back 3-0.
Back
to spawny 1-0 win.
Well, yeah, I mean, never bet on Burnley to score more than one goal. Just don't bet on them to concede either. This is a really big win for them, and they were good value for it. They were all over them. Yeah. I mean, it's classic Palace, and we'll get to Palace later, but really good win for Burnley. Keeps them kind of up above Newcastle, which is all that really matters at this point, isn't it? Because we know that West Brom's going down. We know Sheffield United are going down. Maybe Fulham will pull off the Great Escape, but if they do, it's Newcastle that are falling into the relegation zone. So just stay above them and get to 30 points.
Well, I'm going to get my score in first because I do have a feeling you're going to be picking this score. But I'm going to say 1-1 draw.
I'm going to pick that. Are you crazy? 2-0 to Burnley.
Wow.
Back the Clarets.
Genius, man. You forget these things.
Back the Clarets. Fulham versus Sheffield United.
We always talk about how Fulham need to win games, and they did win a game against Everton. A fantastic win for them. Probably their best, I wouldn't say their best performance because they've been good in a lot of games, but their best result certainly of the season because they finally put a couple of chances away. And my God, do they miss chances in games, as do Sheffield United, by the way. But I think this is... I struggle to say Fulham will get back-to-back wins here just because Sheffield United are just awkward to play against.
Sheffield United are awkward to play against, but watching them earlier today, it's just like they're going to lose. No matter what they're doing, they're going to lose. And it's because when they go on the attack, they're like counter-attacking it. David McGoldrick gets the ball, and he's perfectly good with the ball at his feet. But it's like a man running through treacle. Like, the squad doesn't even have speed up front. They're self-admitted. Their best striker is Billy Sharp, and it takes him an hour and a half to get from one end of the pitch to the other. They have to bus him to the forward line and hope that he gets there in time.
It is. I agree with that, and it is everything. Everything's always like an extra touch that they don't need, and then the chance kind of goes away. There's
no speed. There's no fluency in their attack, and I know they're working really hard. And Chris Wilder's a really good manager, and Sheffield have done well to get to the point they're at. But it looks like the Sheffield United we expected last year this year.
I was going to say. I was going to preface Sheffield United. Yeah. So I don't know what to pick now. So I think it's your turn to pick first. I'm going to let you lead the line.
3-1 Fulham.
No, can't see it. I'm going to go for a Fulham win as well, though. I'm going to go one less, 2-1 Fulham.
Arsenal versus Manchester City.
Is it 16 wins in a row in all competition? Is it? I mean, they've stormed ahead in the league now. Stormed ahead in the league. However many number of wins it is, they were classy again and smashed Tottenham in that game. But this is undoubtedly their biggest test coming up against the Gooners. But the question on everyone's lips, Thomas, is it Gundogan? Is it Gundogan? Is it Gundogan? Is it Gundagan? How do you say this name?
G-Money. Just stick with G-Money. You can't get it wrong. Well,
that sounds a little too hip for me. So I'm going to stick with Gundogan. I like that one. But
I like that.
What a revelation he's been. He's almost like this striker they never knew they had.
He's having a great run of it. Like, genuinely, he's just dynamite in front of goal right now. Every time he pings a ball, it seems to go in the back of the net.
Especially when, like, Ederson could just bang I mean, it's such an unlike City goal. Ederson could just bang a ball downfield, and he can just outmuscle the defender and score. That's like added another string to City's bow there.
Yeah, it's not really fair, is it? But they're coming against an Arsenal team that actually won a match of football this weekend.
They did indeed, Thomas, and we'll get to Leeds because I'm convinced you keep telling me Leeds are good, but Arsenal smashed them, and it's a return to form for Aubameyang. These are undoubtedly two of the best. It probably are the two best sides in the league. Probably Arsenal 1, City 2. It's two. You know, we already say these two sides are nailed on for Champions League places. But I am grateful that I don't have to back Arsenal to win. Because they're not.
But you're going to anyway.
United at my side, and they're the side I can't show weakness for. So, because I'm pretty sure we're both going to be back in City in this one.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no way I'm going to back Arsenal in this. Their form before this is pretty awful. They also they beat a Leeds side, but in that second half, all of a sudden you just start to think, oh my God, Leeds are coming. Oh my God, Leeds are going to come back.
Always so negative.
About Arsenal? Yes.
Yeah, they played with I'd say the big difference was they actually played with pace and speed, and they didn't just try and pass the ball around for 20 minutes along the midfield and slow everything down. That's the actual blueprint of how I think they should play in the majority of the game. So that's why they cut leagues open time and time again.
And that's why they're 8 points out of a Champions League place and 10th in the league, right next to Leeds, below Spurs, Villa, Everton, Liverpool, and West Ham.
Sometimes the league lies, Tom. Sometimes the league lies.
League table don't lie, boy. I am going to go for a City win, and I'm going to go for City 4, Arsenal 0.
Harsh, man. What makes Arsenal so great is their humility, and sometimes they do just understand the greater good of letting Manchester City storm away with this league. I think it will be Arsenal 1, Manchester City 3.
So you think Arsenal are going to give a better account of themselves than Liverpool did too?
Last week you said to me, "Oh, you think the Arsenal going to beat the Leeds side?" And they smashed them. So you don't know dick.
Facts, ladies and gentlemen, facts. And we move on. Brighton and Hove Albion versus there's none of them there. Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to come back, and I don't blame them because nobody wants to come back and watch this Palace side at the moment. Maybe next season they'll come back at those Eagles. But the Eagles versus the Seagulls in this kind of made-up derby game, isn't it?
Battle of the avian flu.
Yeah, this game that they all call a derby that no one else thinks is a derby.
Yeah, no one cares about really. And it's 14th versus 15th. Palace on 29 points, Brighton on 26. 26. Everyone raving about Brighton's recent performances. Their 0-0 draw with Aston Villa, let me tell you.
Should have won the game, though, really. They should have won. They were the better side.
Yeah, but it was a game.
That is a common Brighton story, I know, but they were the better side.
I don't think that is a common Brighton story. I think that was a Brighton story for the first 5 games of the year. Then they lost every match for about 12 games. They put this weird winning run together where they beat Liverpool, but I swear to God, you've seen the goal where it deflects off 2 Brighton players and goes in, and you're like, this isn't convincing. And then the commentators are like, it's fantastic. The way Brighton controlled that game, you're like, Liverpool had 80% of the ball, just couldn't score.
They should have beat Man United.
Who? Liverpool or Brighton?
And Liverpool.
Should have at least gotten a draw for being
honest. Liverpool.
Yes, them as well. But Ian, enough about both of these sides. They don't deserve our time unless you're.
And I think Palace did beat Man United.
I think we're having technical difficulties. Ian, I can't hear you.
I'm gonna go for a Brighton win. Because Palace are in horrific form. I think it could be 2-1 win to Brighton.
I hear your 2-1 win, and I raise you a 1-0 win to Brighton.
You like it? Is that a raise?
Sure.
Western Hammersmith United versus Tottenham Hotspur.
So I believe that technically this is a London derby.
I believe actually it is a London derby. Yes, Thomas.
Technically a London derby.
Okay.
So Spurs currently sitting 9th on 36 points. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. They look awful right now. Harry Kane being back is huge, but West Ham are up to 5th. They're tied with Chelsea for a Champions League spot. Won 3 of their last 5. Looked really good against Sheffield United. They're having a very good year, Ian. And Jace Lynn. Yeah. Who is this magic man?
Oh, Jessie the cowgirl from Toy Story.
Yes. What is she doing on a football pitch?
I don't know, but it's nice to see her playing again. And it looks good. And then it generally is, because I've enjoyed his performances, and I like that. Like he looks like he's enjoying his football, and I know that's like little cliches to say, but I like the way he adds a lot to this West Ham side in terms of like getting them up the pitch, if you know what I mean.
It's so direct.
Yes,
it's so direct.
It's awesome. It's good and it works well. Yeah. And the West Ham are very, very dangerous. They're good. They got a lot of good quality players, but they're also very good from set pieces as well. And it's hard to think. Spurs are in such a mess. You don't know what you're going to get from them at the moment.
Really, before I touch on Spurs, did you see Jesse Lingard over the penalty?
My God, the penalty was hilarious, wasn't it? The penalty was hilarious. Not Billy Sharp. Basham absolutely poleaxed him.
He poleaxed him, and then he like kind of acts like he hasn't done anything. And you're like, mate, that's so Stonewall. VAR aren't even going to review it. That's how Stonewall. But like, and then Jesse Lingard stood there trying to take the ball out of Declan Rice's hand. And Declan Rice is huge, and he's like, little boy, step away. No, but I won the penalty. Little boy, step away.
Yes.
Good penalty. But Spurs, I honestly... they look terrible. Sanchez has made himself a meme trying to stop Gundogan on that shot where he, like, tries to poleaxe the ground with his forehead to stop the ball. Can Mourinho get fired from this job? Is that a thing?
It's not good, is it? And they've really... When the old Kane and Son counter-attacking punch doesn't work, they look a really poor side. Really.
Yeah, and they look so much better now Kane's back, but it's starting to become painfully obvious that Kane is the only thing that makes...
Did you say painfully obvious?
I really wish I had. That'd have been quite funny. But the team doesn't seem to be able to get the ball to Son Heung-min in any situation unless it's Harry Kane making the pass. And Son and Kane look world class and they play together, but the minute one of Kane's off the pitch, they don't seem to be able to play a single good pass to Son Heung-min. He just fades out of games. It doesn't make any sense. But
I think Mourinho is fast realising he's got a load of quite average players that aren't good enough.
Yeah, well, Sanchez and Aurier are on a mission to prove they can't play football, and I get that. I keep talking about the fact that Spurs need Kane to play in a forward direction, but they do have a world-class striker, and you're supposed to rely on your world-class players. It's the point of having world-class players. But at the back, I wasn't impressed by Hugo Lloris either. He had some pretty weak wrists in that game.
He does weird things in games, doesn't he, Lloris? He makes silly mistakes you wouldn't expect him to make.
Fantastic up until the last game as well. They were losing matches, but the Chelsea game, they lost 1-0. He's good at it. It's just one goal beats him, but that City game, you're just it felt a lot like he could have had a better match.
Last time these two played, it was the famous 3-3 game with Lanzini scoring that amazing goal right at the end. Do you see it being anything similar?
I don't bet on David Moyes beating the Big Six at any point, because betting on David Moyes beating the Big Six is betting against every piece of history we've ever seen. I'm going to have to go for a Spurs win. Harry Kane's back. But I think this is going to be a garbage game. I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs.
I'm going to go for a draw. I think West Ham are good enough to get a point in this, but I agree with you what you say about Moyes. Until he starts beating them, you can't back really him to beat them. 2-2 draw. That's my Desmond of the week, folks.
Yes, I think with David Moyes, it's a little bit like backing Sheffield United to win. Like, if they could win 3 or 4 in a row, yeah, I'd start backing him to win and believe it. But until I get any consistency,
I think you've gone to an extreme end of the scale there, but I do take your point.
You know, I know we have to keep going, but have you ever noticed that I always go to Sheffield United?
You always go to the extreme end of the scale, yes.
Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leeds United.
Well, we have not seen much of Wolverhampton Wanderers this season. We haven't seen them produce the dizzying heights and the good play that we've seen them play for the last 2 seasons. But the second half of the Southampton game, they appeared. They sort of came out of hibernation.
Was it Neto who got both goals? Was that Neto?
I think Neto got the second one, didn't he? Really good bit of individual skill.
Oh yeah,
it
was what's his face.
It was a penalty, wasn't it? Dodgy penalty.
That was the first goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second goal. Who was that though?
That was Neto.
Oh, no, so yeah.
Yeah. So he got the second. Yeah.
Yeah. The second goal was absolutely fantastic. I mean, great skill, sells his man, and oh, what a finish.
Yeah, but you just thought 1-0 down and getting quite overrun by Southampton in the first half. You thought this was very much a typical Wolves performance from what we've seen this season. So good to see them showing a bit of fight. I'm sure Nuno will be happy with that. And they come up against the bonkers Leeds United side.
Yeah. So Leeds lost 4-2, obviously, to Arsenal, but they never look like they're losing. Like they shipped 3.
Oh, this is a stretch. Oh God, I listened to this. This is a stretch. Come on, man. Let's listen. Arsenal beat them 4-2, and you hate Arsenal. So how'd you bail Leeds out of this one then?
Bailing them out of it. I'm just saying they don't look like they're losing. They don't act like they're losing. They just keep going. A really weird decision though from Bielsa to put Luke Ayling at center back and dropped in a backup right back or whatever it was to fill it. But Leeds don't care if they win, lose, or draw. They're going to go into the next game playing the exact same game, and I don't think Wolves can handle this Leeds side. Nothing about the lost performance from Wolves tells me anything like that. Should have been 2-2. There should have been a penalty to Southampton for a handball. The handball that was given is debatable at the best of times, and it was what led him into the game. And I don't think Wolves start games trying to win. I mean, I'm looking at last season. I'm trying to remember this team, and even with Jimenez, they play quite slow from the beginning. They try not to lose the first half, and they try and win the second. Whereas Leeds try and win everything all the time, constantly, to their own detriment most of the time. But they're going to get goals. It's going to be 3-1 to Leeds.
I don't believe anything that I'm about to say, but I'm just saying it just to try and annoy some Leeds fans. But I think they're overrated. I think Bielsa's overrated. He's never won anything apart from the Championship, which, let's be fair, that was pretty easy to win. They're far too gung-ho. I think you've got a better chance of staying in the league playing the way Allardyce does with West Brom than Bielsa does. They're far too maverick for me. I've got to go Wolves, 2-1 win.
Felt good, didn't it?
To lie on camera? No, it didn't feel good.
To be fair, I was mildly baited halfway through that. I was like, you beat him. I was like, you said he wasn't serious. You said he wasn't serious. Stay calm, Pickles.
Aston Villa versus Leicester City.
Did you see any of James Maddison's interview after the Leicester City game?
I'm literally, the only thing I'm going to say about Leicester is Jamie Vardy playing the guitar with the corner flag. That's all you need to know about the victory over Liverpool.
It was great. I think it was Martin Atkinson was the center official for that game. And if it wasn't him, I apologize. Someone can correct me on this. But Maddison was just things like no one knew what was going on. He was signaling this. He was signaling that. It's a goal. It's not a goal. It's VAR. No one knew what was going on. It was anarchy.
Anarchy.
I mean, Leicester had played up to that point pretty well, and all of a sudden Liverpool put the skill on and scored a great goal, and you're like, oh, Leicester are going to go down, but like, you and I were texting each other being like, why are we happy about this goal? It was such just great skill from Firmino, and you thought, well, if you're going to lose to a goal like that, you're going to lose to a goal like that. And they didn't. They blitzkrieged him. That, you know, Liverpool fell apart as well, but, you know, Leicester, they had to be there, they had to do it, they had to press as hard as they did, and you feel like after Aston Villa's lost performance, they have clunkers in them anyway. But Leicester, they're going to be too good for this Villa side, don't they?
It's a game you really want to see. It's a game I'm really excited to see this weekend. I really want to see how, Villa weren't very good against Brighton. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the attacking players on show. You know, your Barnes, your Madisons, your Tielemans, your Vardys against like your Watkins, your Grealish, your Barkley.
Yeah,
you know,
it should be a really good
game. I'm looking forward to see 2 good goalkeepers, Martinez and Schmeichel. And Leicester have given themselves that. I think they've got a sniff now. Now Liverpool have imploded. They've got a sniff of getting in top 4 because they've only one place to play for. Remember?
Yep. But disregarding that, they look really good. And you know what? We've got 10 games to go in the league. Is it?
Is it? I don't know. It might be more than that.
How many games are there? 13 games to go, and they're doing really well. They're pacing Man United in second place. They're only 7 points behind City with a game in hand. City with a game in hand. So you got to back them, and I'm going to back them 3-1.
No, I don't have to back them, and I refuse to back them, and I'm not going to back them. I think this game's going to be a Villa win. I'm going to go for Aston Villa 3-1.
You being serious right now?
Yeah. Why not?
Why?
Why not?
You know, I think you don't like winning predictions. I think you purposely try not to win it. You back Arsenal 90% of the time, and now you're backing Villa to beat Leicester.
Well, we will see, won't we? We will see. I say, I smell a dramatic comeback. That's all I'm saying. Southampton versus Chelsea.
I think Ralph Hasenhüttl is going to throttle an official at some point this season. I think he's just going to run on the pitch and just,
When you start talking about Chelsea, I'm just going to sing an undercurrent of Hallelujah. I'm just going to let you know that. We might get copyright stricken for it, but I'm just going to do it anyway.
I watched the Southampton game. They were so good in the first half, and they imploded after the penalty went in. Ryan Bertrand could not control himself. He was like walking around the pitch muttering. Second goal was brilliant, but the defending, I know Verstappen or whatever his name is, has only just come back. But
a race car driver.
He left him for absolutely dead. He sold him so badly on that. And they keep losing. And yeah, they probably should have had a penalty and it should have been 2-2, but they should never have let Wolves back into that game in the first place.
I was quiet then because you keep calling him Verstappen. I couldn't think of his name. Vestergaard. There we go. Yannick Vestergaard. Yeah, and 6-game losing streak for Southampton, and the performances weren't good for like the first 3 or 4 of those games, and now the performances are all right, but they're getting the bad luck now, so it's not going well for them, and they're coming up against a very well organised Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea.
It's an absolute just machine of a team right now, isn't it? They won 5 matches in a row, and 4 matches, undefeated in 5 under him. Total control. Werner scored today.
That's what I was doing hallelujah for.
Yeah, there you go. Werner scored. Giroud scored. Good to see 2 strikers on the pitch at the same time as well. The lesser seen thing in the Premier League these days, allowing 2 strikers on the pitch.
And that's Werner. I know he scored, but before that, he was a massive hand in the first goal as well. So he's certainly, that goal will do him the world of good. Scruffy as hell, the goal was, but it didn't matter. He just needed something to go in, and I think hopefully you'll see a lot better form from him from now on. In front of him.
And you'll have to update him in this. Did Abraham go off injured?
Yeah, it was a good tackle, but it was one where like the defender sort of just caught him and he fell awkwardly, and he went off injured from that. Well, obviously I don't know how long he's going to be injured for. Hopefully not too long. But Chelsea look damn sight more unorganised under Tuchel, and I think that just is like he must have been rubbing his hands with glee when this job became available, because it's such a nice job to go into. So many good players, and it's only a matter of just settling things down after. Unfortunately, it didn't go well for Lampard. I mean, he's even playing bloody Kepa in goal when they're getting wins, and Kepa's actually looking all right. I mean, what is happening? But they just the game management is very good from Tuchel. I mean, I want to see how they respond to going a goal down in a game and having to chase it, because so far it's very much been them being the front runners and then being able to control it. So we will see when that happens. But I don't think they'll have any problems in this game. 7 defeats in a row for the Saints.
It must be so good when you play Kepa and you don't lose a game and everyone goes, oh, you're a genius, because we've seen it now under multiple managers. He's going to lose you matches and he's going to make you go insane.
The thing is, you don't even need to whisper it. It's like quite common knowledge. Grandstand Bella's Player of the Week is Kepa for Golden Glove.
Yeah, I'll let you go first, though, on the prediction, man.
I just think it's going to be a 2-0 win for Chelsea. Might be 2-1, but I just think they look so solid at the moment. You can copy. It's not admitting defeat by copying my knowledge, Thomas.
I refuse to accept Thomas Tuchel as a manager. Come at me, Chelsea fans.
Interesting you should say that, Thomas, as it leads into an interesting segue while we talk about managers, because we've reached the final match. We've reached the main event.
Manchester United versus the pride of Geordie Shore, Newcastle United and Steve Bruce.
Both ex-Manchester United legends managing these clubs, but who is the better manager? How good can you really be if you draw to West Bromwich Albion? But you don't want to hear what I think about it. Let's listen to the resident expert and Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
Ian, I really like the lead-up you gave me, and I love it when you do that. But can you just remind me the exact quote I gave on live camera when asked about this game last time?
I can't remember. Well, you were very much like, nah.
It was bad.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad. It was pathetic. Saying there's a hand on Lindelof's face, yeah, it's not great, but he's a freaking center back. Do you see what center backs do to other players, especially on corners? They're like literally holding on to them for dear life. They'll do anything to stop them. How are you letting him get around you? And then this is the problem, Man United. If you can mark Bruno Fernandes out of a game, if Bruno Fernandes has a bad match, if he's just not perfect for the entire thing, we can't win. It's awful.
You say that, and that's the thing. We're saying that Bruno Fernandes had a bad game, scores the equaliser.
Yeah, it's a great goal. That's the one time.
And that's him having a bad game.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like it's really tough because when they can't get him the ball, the entire team has no idea what to do. The only player that seems to know what's going on is Cavani, who stood there like, "Why won't you give me the ball? Just put it somewhere in the box."
In penalty area, I head in goal.
Get it within 12 yards. I'll find it. Like eventually, if you do it enough times, I've proven this. But that being said, United is still second in the league. I like that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's chat has changed completely. They were top of the league, and he said, "We don't think about leading the league. We don't care about league position. We're just trying to improve." And then he comes out after the West Brom game, and it's like, "Oh, we're not letting him run away with it. No, we're definitely not letting him run away with it. You know, we're gonna fight City for the title."
Yeah, you like that, do you?
Where was that 2 months ago? I don't.
I think that sounds particularly bad myself, but if you like it, hey, he's yours to keep. No one else is going to take him off you. No one's going to take him off your hands.
Like I've stated a lot on this channel that I don't believe that we should call for managers to get fired, etc. I'm not going to, but he's not good enough. And that West Brom draw, like United need to be matching the big teams around them. They are getting pulled down slowly. They've won one of their last 5 games? It's bad. That is not even top 4 form. And teams below them are flying. Chelsea are flying. Leicester are having a really good year. City have opened up an almost unassailable gap at 7 points with a game in hand over them. West Ham flying. Liverpool. I mean, preseason we had Liverpool in the top 2, so they could pull this together at any point. Everton and Villa have looked really good. It's just Spurs haven't even hit form yet. Arsenal haven't hit form, and Leeds United still sit and wait. So it's going to be a very easy game because they're playing Newcastle, and Newcastle can't decide whether to defend or attack at the best of times. Maximan will play. He'll get a goal, but United will win 3-1.
Yeah, I don't even see Newcastle scoring in this one. I just think this will be a comfortable win for Man United all day long. I'm just scratching my head watching them play. Sometimes that game, that was just like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. How they made West Brom look like a good side is beyond me. And there's people who are really like slagging off Harry Maguire, saying he died for the penalty, and he went down incredibly easily. But I don't think the ref, and this is just me, I don't think if the referee's given the penalty, I think that decision should stay as a penalty. But that would have gotten Man United out of jail massively, which is something they've been good at all season. Newcastle, just they're lucky that the league's as weak as it is this season, and they're just about enough to stay in it. And we don't really need to talk much more about them. They're Man United are going to win 3-0 in my eyes.
enough of this. Let me thank all of you for watching this channel, subscribing, liking. Keep in mind, tomorrow, League One predictions come out. After League One predictions the next day. Why are you agreeing?
No, I am agreeing. I'm just doing a little... That's confusing. I'm sorry. Yes!
Tomorrow, League One predictions are out. The day after that, Oxford United preview show. Saturday, we live stream from 2:45. Ian watches the Oxford game.
Who are Oxford playing, Thomas? Who are Oxford playing? Let's see if you remember.
They're playing Ipswich Town. It's a big game. We will then have a review show that goes out after that game. And then Sunday, get excited. Champions League, round of 16, part 2 of part 1 of round 16 because they just drag it out as far as they can. But it's going to be awesome. Tons of content coming your way. Also, we're going to have a Patreon soon, so have a look below for that. That'll probably be out in the next week or so. We love you all. Thank you for watching, subscribing. Ian, closing thoughts.